Okay, you mentioned digital dollar. Let's talk about it because it's something you've been talking about for years. Obviously, you've got a whole organization that looks at it. Explain what it is, because I think a lot of people don't understand it. I had Jeremy Allaire from Circle on here, and he said, we basically have a digital dollar. It's a ledger that moves around the world. When you move a dollar, it's not a physical dollar. So it is digitized, but that's very different from a CBDB. Also, we've heard the horror stories of the digital yuan and how it controls the populations, and people usually push back. The last thing they do sometimes is confuse stablecoins with this. How do you lay this out?
Yeah. So what is the dollar in your pocket as opposed to the dollar in your bank account? The dollar in your pocket is a bearer instrument, right? It enjoys the full faith and credit of the United States. A digital dollar would enjoy the full faith and credit of the United States. A stable coin is an obligation of the stablecoin sponsors. They may be backed with dollars, so its value proposition is sound, but at the end of the day, there's a sponsor there. In this case, the sponsor is the sovereign government, and that's the big difference. Okay. And by the way, I'm a big fan of stable coins, the ones that are well crafted and well done, and I think what Circle is doing is really forward-leaning, and I think stablecoins have a big role to play in the future. Okay. But 85% of the world's central banks, including all the major central banks, are now experimenting with central bank digital currency. And for me, the light went off in 2019. I finished my 5-year term at the CFTC, stepped down, and the ideas have been forming in my mind for a while, and I had this eureka moment. I've been studying what China's doing, and I realized, the likelihood is that most of the world's major economies are going to go to a central bank digital currency. The compelling reasons for central banks to adopt their own sovereign digital money are so strong. And my worry was not that the United States would not do it. That's fine. Maybe it's a stablecoin regime. My worry was that the United States would do it, but it would be like too many things in the United States. They would rush it together in the course of some congressional weekend, cobble it together, chuck it out there, and it would be bad and would fail. It would undermine the dollar. And so we launched a private sector effort to start doing some of the advanced exploratory work as to if the United States adopts a digital dollar, what should be some of the essential components in it. Now, let's talk about what China's doing. I just had the opportunity to serve on a one-year study with the Hoover Institute at Stanford University that just released an excellent paper. If anybody's interested in the digital yuan, take a look at this paper. What China is building is an extraordinarily ambitious, even audacious undertaking to correct the world's biggest population center, soon to be perhaps the world's largest economy, a sovereign digital currency that would be exclusive. There would be no stable coins available. There'd be no Bitcoin. They've already shutting that down. There would be the digital yuan, or what they call their ECNY. It's already available to 660 million Chinese. It's tens of thousands of institutions and banks are now making it available. It's a remarkable tool. It's a surveillance tool. Let's make no doubt about it. If you criticize the regime, your digital yuan will be disabled from getting a train out of your village. I mean, it's powerful in that regard. And it's not just for domestic use. The technology will be exported. Regimes around the world that may wish to surveil their populations, control how they spend, will adopt ECNY technology to develop their own digital Ecuadorian peso or whatever regime in the world wishes to do that. It also will enable payments outside of the Western American-dominated banking system, and so sanctions avoidance may be possible in a future state. I disagree with those who think there's a big role for crypto in avoiding Russian sanctions right now, unsanctioned central banks and individuals. But going forward, a lot of nations around the world are looking at this extraordinary use of sanctions power right now, saying, how do we get off? And they're accelerating efforts to central bank digital currency. But not just our economic adversaries, our economic competitors, the EU, Britain, I talk about competitors to the United States, Canada, are moving forward with exploring digital money. So we very much advocate the United States, whether it deploys a digital dollar or not, needs to be leading in the innovation of it. And it's not just the technological innovation, it's the value sets. And here's my main point, and I want your audience to hear this, Brian. The United States has an ace to play, and if we play it well, the future is in Western economies. And if we play it poorly, we will lose. And that value is economic liberty. If we program into the digital money of the future, whether that is a stable coin by Circle or whether it's a US digital dollar or a digital pound or a digital euro, the type of privacy I talked about, the ability to transact pseudonymously and law enforcement not as a identifying step in the first case, but one when there's probable cause, that will be an aspirational instrument for a future of digital money. But if we maintain this notion that we're going to get everybody's identity before they can access the system, and the ability for that to be usurped by politicians, whether to punish their political adversaries, as we saw in Canada with this truckers thing, or as we're seeing in other walks of life, as we're seeing politicians pressure social media companies to ban certain conversations. If that's what happens to digital money, we're way worse off. In fact, we're not much better than what's being developed in Beijing right now. And so what I tell my friends in government is, let's get digital privacy right in the future of money. If we do, it will preserve the role of the dollar, the euro, and the pound as an aspirational currency for people all over the world. And if we get privacy wrong, we're no better than those surveillance states. It's the most important issue of all, is economic liberty in digital money. And I'm not talking about liberty to do illegal transactions, right? I believe in law enforcement. I served 5 years as a top regulator with a law enforcement capability that was second to none. I believe in policing, but at the same time, people need to know that the same decision they make to shop at Target or Walmart, not only is that their business and nobody else's, their decision to contribute to a controversial cause, whether that be Planned Parenthood or Right to Life, is also a private decision and not subject to some politician somewhere overseeing it and determining what to limit it. If we get full economic privacy for legal transactions, we will have digital money that will be the winning route of the future. And then you add programmability, the ability to have money, and this is a point about programmable money. Money today is movable across space at great expense and at great time loss. The money of the future will move across space instantaneously, but it'll also move across time, because we'll be able to program money to do things in the future directly without intermediaries serving to do that nature. So the future of digital money is very, very exciting, but we've got to get privacy right.